Greetings, humans. You have entered the Command Zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander. Enjoy your stay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Command Zone podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Weeks.
And I'm Jake.
Yeah, we have a special guest today. Jake Boss is joining us to talk about 10 cards you can buy right now for $10. Today we're talking about colorless cards, so these could go in any of your decks for the price of a sandwich or a cup of coffee or, you know, Taco Bell now for some reason.
Yeah, Los Angeles Taco Bell.
You can get these super cool cards and really upgrade your deck. So we're going to jump right into it. We're talking about 10 awesome cards, each of them totaling $10. So a $10 bill. You can turn it into some cool mechanics right now. We're starting off with a little birdie.
This is a cool one.
It's called Bladegriff Prototype. This is a 50-cent card. It's a 5-drop, so it's a 5-mana, 3/2 artifact creature, Griffin, with flying. And whenever Bladegriff Prototype deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-land permanent of that player's choice that one of your opponents controls.
So you want people to smack you with this thing so then you get to choose where the destruction happens, right?
This card's really interesting because, yeah, you do have opponents kind of vying to get hit, to be like, no, you can hit me for 3, that's totally fine, and I'll blow up something that I want gone.
And flying is generally good in Commander anyway, so even if they're not like, oh, come on, hit me, smack me in the face for 3, like, I'm going to hit you, and then you're forced to decide which thing goes away anyway.
Yeah.
Which is probably aligned with, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
So.
I love this card because it means that they did it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't tend to make the deals that, like, if you blow this up, I'll hit you with it. Because then it's you removing a thing, but sort of worse. I like hitting somebody and be like, it's your decision. And it's not up to 1. It's destroy target non-land permanent that player controls, one of your opponents controls. So it's like, it's good if you're a behind the deck. It's good if you're a politics deck. It's good if you're the one in the lead, then they can sort of like blow up one of your opponent's treasure tokens or something like that. But I really I think when you give your opponents the opportunity to cast a free removal spell, they cast it.
Yeah. Do you ever feel bad though about paying 5 mana for a 3/2 flyer, or it isn't about that? It's about the repeated removal.
So for me, it's about the repeated removal. It's a bit of a it's a threat that doesn't rise to the top where like it has to be removed.
Yeah.
And honestly, I underrated this card for a long time until I played it on the battlefield. I actually put this in my Go-Go deck that was on Extra Turns. This goes Go-Go Mysterious Mime. Check out the Extra Turns. We'll do the link in the show notes. And it really overperformed because that deck can, first of all, make a copy of it. It can give it haste, and it makes it a little bit bigger. So suddenly you have 2 Bladegriff Prototypes running around. They're smacking for 5, and they can do it the turn that they come down. And that's when I started thinking about the opportunity to really enhance what this card does. If you're doubling up on damage triggers, like you're doing a Helix 5 boots or something like that. If you're casting colorless spells for cheaper, that's great. If you need a place to put equipment, because it's a flyer naturally that has additional upside and it's an artifact, so it goes with a lot of the artifact synergy in equipment decks. Yeah. It just sort of has it checks a lot of the boxes.
It progresses the game across the board, except on yours.
Right.
So
right.
You're taking a little bit of damage over here. Something else that you didn't decide is getting removed. And, you know, at worst, you got a blocker in the air.
I think anytime I can have a card that it's like, this is evasive, this deals damage, this can remove cards, and this can create blood feuds between my opponents incidentally, it's a card I'm going to have to look at twice. So I wouldn't underrate Bladegriff Prototype. It looks a little bit like, I don't get to do that, and it's like, it's not that big, but it has a lot of things going for it in addition to just being a nasty little body that can carry your equipment for you. So.
I could see this though. I smack somebody, and then they say to another person, "Well, I'll choose your crappiest thing if we're friends from now on."
Right.
And I'm like, wait a second.
Hang on now.
I'm invited to this party. Why am I not in the deal?
Yeah, it is a tricky card that you do have to like make sure that you're in control of the politics of. That's why I say it's better for like a deck that is political or it's more behind on board, because you don't want to be the big bad and also playing this card.
Yeah, it incites commander moments no matter what, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, that is the first one, 50 cents out of the budget already. The second one is an innocuous little card that you've probably heard of, but not put in a deck yet. It's Pentad Prism.
Yeah, I haven't thought about this more than twice since I first read it. It's 25 cents. It's Pentad Prism for 2 generic mana. It's an artifact with Sunburst, which means that for every color of mana that you cast, or that you use to cast it, it enters with a counter. So you remove a charge counter from it and add 1 mana of any color. So cast it for 2. It comes in with 2 counters, and then I can cash those in right away because it's not a tap ability.
Right. It stores mana for you, usually on turn 2 when it's best. Pentad Prism, I think, is one of, like, for a format that plays arguably the most 2-mana sources of any format ever. I think Pentad Prism is one of the most underplayed.
Yeah.
Because people look at it and they're like, well, why wouldn't I just play a talisman? Because the talismans give me mana over multiple turns.
Right, and compound mana.
Right, and that's true. But a talisman only gives you 1 additional mana on the next turn. Pentad Prism gives you 2. So you can untap on turn 3 with 5 mana, especially in any color. And I think that's where Pentad Prism becomes really, really powerful.
Yeah.
If you're playing like a 5-color commander, like just Wooburg mana, this can get that card down on turn 3.
That's crazy.
And that's really fast. Like if you're playing the Prismatic Bridge, or you're playing Joda, or you're playing some sort of really powerful 5-color commander, this gets it on the battlefield and moving. And that is before your opponents are really ready for it. Not to mention there's a lot of other synergies with just having an artifact on the battlefield.
Yeah, usually with the rate that we expect, you would get to at most a 4-mana commander on turn 3.
Right.
I'll play a land on turn 1, another land, and ramp turn 2. Then I'm at 4 mana. But being able to store this, even though it's limited, that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think with 4-mana commanders, you want a Signet. A Signet will get you to your commander on turn 3. That's not all that surprising. But if you're playing a 5-mana commander or 5-color commander, either of those, this gets it down on the same rate as 4-mana commanders, which is often the problem with 5-mana commanders, is they come down a full turn later than those 4-mana commanders. So I think this one should be one you're looking at if you're playing a 5-mana commander, especially if you're in one that's 3+ colors. It's also really good. I run it in my Galazeth Prismari deck.
Because we can use it after that.
Right, because it taps for mana as long as I have my commander on the board. So I can use it to remove a counter and to cast my commander, but then after that, it's just an artifact that I can tap that gives me an additional mana if I need it.
Yeah, and in that case, you're able to use the tap ability while still having the 1 charge counter left on it. So you can sort of double tap it in a turn with. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And there's a lot of commanders that really care about just having stuff on the battlefield.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think of this as a like proliferate type of card.
That's why I wrote
counters
it off.
on it. Right, yeah. Where like if you're playing Kilo Apogee Mind, you're like, yeah, I'll proliferate this and it'll make a ton of mana and I can spend it as much as I want. And that is definitely a powerful way to play it. But the fact that this has so many other utility that is a little bit more secretive, I think means that it should be played a lot more. Yeah,
you're able to store it up. And even if we're not casting a 5-mana commander on turn 3, we might be doing, a 6 or 7 mana thing way earlier than we're supposed to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing is this leaves a little bit of material behind that's good for sacrificing. It's also good for donating. Like if you're playing a Zedru deck, for example. You can
I give all my permanents to other people.
You give them this useless prism that you've used all the mana out of, and you're like, here's some crap. I'm going to draw cards and gain some life off
Here's
of
my mana wrapper.
Yeah, exactly. Like we underrate how much permanents mean in Commander, and just having this thing that is an early burst and you can use it for additional value. You can sacrifice it to like what's the 2-mana Thrill of Possibility that lets you sack artifacts? Dig for answers. Demand answers. I got it.
Wow. What an ironic name.
I demand answers.
And Jake. I got one fun little thing in here. If you play it with Joda Archmage Eternal and you cast it for Wooburg, it comes in with 5 counters on it because of Sunburst.
That's true.
Which you can use right away for another Wooburg.
You would need it to cost more mana. You'd need some way to make your Pentad Prism more expensive.
Yes.
But yeah.
I'm great at wasting cards in my hand.
This is a very cool little card that I think people are underrating because they're only seeing the counter side of it. But we've got a lot of really cool cards that we're going to talk about today. If you want to pick up any of these, if you want to spend $10, you can do so while you're supporting the show by going to cardkingdom.com/command. Card Kingdom is the best. They have a huge selection of cards all in one place. When I'm building a deck, when I'm buying a bunch of cards after a set is released, I paste them all into Card Kingdom, and you can choose how many you want. You can choose what condition, what foiling, what version you want, all on the same page. You don't have to jump around, and you all add them to the cart, and you get out of there. It is the most convenient way to buy cards. With Card Kingdom, you can trust that they're professionals. It's going to show up on your doorstep, safe and sound, and get to you quickly. So, cardkingdom.com/command. You're supporting the show and picking up some sweet, sweet cards. And once those cards are in your hand, you can support the show and your cards by going to ultrapro.com/command. Ultrapro has the highest quality Magic accessories in the business. If you haven't checked out the new Apex sleeves, they're amazing. They're the highest quality shuffle feel on any of the art sleeves that are out right now. Plus, they have the officially licensed art from Wizards. So anytime that a new set comes out, they get a new set of Apex sleeves that are really cool and shuffle really well and are going to keep your cards safe for a long, long time. Stick around, and they have a big sale. They'll do these like random weekend sales that are like 40% off everything. And I'm like, okay, I just buy a whole bunch of stuff. I just bought the rest of the Mana 8 line for all of my monocolored decks because they're Apex sleeves and they're really pretty and they're perfect if you're only playing in monocolor because it's like the red mountain for your reds. It all matches.
So, my SpongeBob deck went into the blue mana symbol because it's underwater.
It's a water deck.
You don't have to just go, single color. Magic sleeves?
I do. And you can support the show by using our affiliate link at ultrapro.com/command. And finally, you can support us directly by going to patreon.com/command-zone. We have a very exciting thing going on. The game nights auditions are officially open.
Woo!
If you're seeing this episode, that means that our fan episode is already out, and you can check that out. Those are our last two patron lucky winners and got to come hang out with us, play on the set. We play off camera as well. And it's because they auditioned, right? Yeah. And most of them auditioned multiple times.
You keep going.
It's
a lot of people we see the same faces in the finalists a lot of year over year.
You're close.
Doing it a long time. Don't stop. Keep going at it. And it just takes a couple of minutes. Boy, we were, I think it was the 5th fan episode. I was doing the interview with Saul. And at the end, I'm like, do you have any messages for anybody? Like, if they're thinking about, auditioning, he's like, just do it. I almost didn't do it. And I ended up here. I don't know if that fully made it into the show, but put yourself out there. Go for it. It takes a couple of minutes. Don't come up with some grand plan that is too hard to execute, which is what I did back in the day. And that's why I didn't do it.
We just want to get to know you.
Do it. Submit an audition.
Deadline, October 26th at 11:59 PST PM. So get it to us. That deadline is going to come up faster than you think. You have to be a patron, but you can be at any tier. It's totally okay if you sign up to be a patron, submit your audition, and then leave us in the next month. We totally get it. It's expensive to be alive. So the link will be in the show notes for more information where you can submit what we need in the audition from you. Make sure that you actually do all the things that we ask for, because that is the easiest way to get eliminated is to just not follow directions. So submit that ASAP. October 26th is the deadline. But thank you so much if you're a patron already. We like to shout out one lucky patron every single podcast episode. And this one is dedicated to Emily Crabtree. Emily, you rock. All right, let's keep moving to one of my favorite colorless cards in existence.
I love this card. He's got some cool alts, too.
He does. It's Graaz, Unstoppable Juggernaut. This is a 50-cent ding-dong. He's an 8-mana, 7/5 legendary artifact creature, Juggernaut. It says Juggernauts you control attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control can't be blocked by walls.
Like in X-Men 3.
And other creatures you control have base power and toughness 5/3 and are Juggernauts in addition to their other creature types. So, Graaz is an enormous overrun. It says all of your creatures are 5/3s and all of them are attacking right now.
It's crazy. Like, And it's not up to you. We're just doing it. When I looked at this card first, I'm like, it's kind of neat. I'm not going to build a deck around that, though.
Yeah.
No, silly. Put it in the 99.
Put it in the 99. This is an enormous Anthem effect that happens right away. It's also pretty easy to keep track of. When I'm looking for Anthem effects, I want to do as little math as possible. So something that's big about this is you play it, everything's 5/3s, you get to attack right now. I run this in my PNLR Console of Revival deck because it turns all the Thopters into 5/3s, and it doesn't ground them. They keep flying, they keep their abilities, that kind of thing. And I want to attack with them right now. So they become Thopter Juggernauts, which is hilarious.
Your wall's not stopping that.
Absolutely. And it's this big moment anytime this card hits the battlefield. And I just wish that I saw more of Graaz. So if you make flying tokens, I think this is a great Anthem. I think that's a good key to look for. It's also a good combat finisher for colorless decks, red decks, black decks, any decks that don't have a ton of pump effect options, especially ones that happen right away. Like red has a couple, but they usually rely on typal synergies or they're like Anthem effects. Or like temporary Anthem effects, I mean, like they're one use. Graaz is this kind of thing that once it hits the battlefield, they have to answer this or you're going to keep beating the daylights out of them with Juggernauts.
Yeah, it's great, especially if we can modify them with the counters and equipment. Just anything extra to boost that 3 is that 3 toughness. It's a little dangerous. It's getting there, but hopefully the game is over by the time that we're dropping him anyway. Oh yeah,
that's definitely the plan. I think if you're doing a deck that has base 0, that's also another good option because it like Omarthus Ghostfire Initiate is one I thought of. First of all, it's colorless, so pump effects are sort of hard to come by. Second, it makes these creatures that have counters on them. So Graaz buffs their base, and then they are even bigger with the counters on top.
Right.
So that combination is really exciting, and you don't have a ton of options in colorless. The other one I wanted to mention was Animpakal Thousandth Moon.
Oh, the gnome one?
The gnome one, or the Juggernaut one.
Oh, Juggernauts.
So Animpakal says whenever you attack with one or more non-gnome creatures, put a counter on Animpakal and you make that many 1/1 gnomes attacking. So the thing about Animpakal is it's kind of tricky to actually get the gnomes to be bigger because they enter in combat. There's a very small window. You need some sort of static effect to make them actual threats. And I think Graaz is sort of the perfect answer of like, okay, those aren't gnomes anymore. They are enormous and you have to block every single one of them or you're dead.
Wow.
Like...
Tapped and attacking, coming in at whoever we want.
Yeah.
It's a big, heavy 5/3 mess.
Yeah, I think this card is just really fun, and it's the perfect kind of finisher for a deck that wants to win in a fair way, but doesn't have a ton of options. Like that's when I'm building like a black deck, and you're like, I don't really want to build another aristocrat deck, but I also don't have a good way to like make my creatures really big.
Yeah.
There is options. Like Graaz is a way to actually do that and turn those like little dinky tokens into an actual combat threat. So if you have a deck that you're like, I want a combat finish, but I really don't have a good answer, you have Graaz.
Yeah, and who doesn't want to turn Rogue Rock into a big 5/3?
Come on! And his name is pronounced Graaz. That's how it's pronounced.
2 A's.
All right, up next we have an equipment that I think everyone has in their collection.
Yeah, we've all cut it from a deck at one point or another.
And I want you to try it. I want you to try it again. It's Heirloom Blade.
Heirloom Blade, it's a 25-cent card, 3 mana for an artifact equipment. It says, equipped creature gets +3/+1, pretty good stat, boost. And then whenever equipped creature dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with it. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, and it has equip 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a lot to really like here, and I want to simplify some of the text because I think this giant chunk of text makes it feel worse than it is.
Yeah, and you might misremember it as, it's that other card that attaches when it enters.
It's like a typal card.
Yeah.
Is what I think a lot of people do.
Right.
But if you look at this card and it's a 3 mana +3/+1 equipment that equips for 1 that says whenever equipped creature dies, draw a creature.
Yeah.
You're like, well, hang on.
Yeah, and let's say you're doing something that's really broad, like zombies or whatever, okay? Like, we're going to hit a zombie. I want to see a zombies. But you could get more specific with your commander. Let's say like Time Lord Doctor. There's only one other one in your deck. You're going until you hit it.
Yeah, I mean, you draw the specific card in your deck. And the thing is, like, I don't think this is necessarily a typal card. In an equipment deck, if it's equipped to like a dwarf artificer, well, we have other dwarves and we probably have other artificers. You can go until you draw another relevant spell that you can cast and equip this thing to, right? Where I think a lot of people look at it where they're like, oh, I have to be in an equipment deck and I have to be a typal deck because then I have creatures that share a type. But most decks have humans, most decks have warriors, most decks have clerics. And if you're doing any amount of sacrificing, this can actually be a really powerful draw engine, and it's only 1 mana to equip.
Yeah. And the stat boost is pretty great as well. It's another way to kill it so you can get that triggered. Because you're sending in a big stinky attacker at somebody.
Absolutely. I mean, I think underrating the +3/+1 is a mistake. It does just turn something into an attacker that wasn't. Even if you put this on a 1/1, you're like 4/2. Ow.
Yeah.
So it's a big pump for such a cheap equip cost. An equip cost.
And
a little equip cost. It's obvious for typal decks, but honestly, I think it should be in basically every typal deck that's going to combat.
It's insurance.
It's insurance, right? Where I run it in my Knight of Weeks deck. It's a mono white Knights deck, and it's a good thing to put on my commander, which is me.
Did you build yourself?
I built myself.
Okay.
She's so cute. But it's a good draw engine in a white deck that is trying to go to combat. So now I can block, I can replace it, I can equip it, attack, do some extra damage, equip it, and block and draw a new knight. And that's like...
And especially that card, you know it's dying.
Yeah.
I've got my 6th week counter, or day counter.
Absolutely. My
Death.
commander is doomed. I never get to 7 days.
Yeah.
But it's also good in any sort of deck that is comfortable with an equipment that has a lot of a common type. So elf, human, wizard, vampire. If you're doing any amount of like equipment matters type stuff, like Amy Rose is a recent equipment commander.
Hedgehog Warrior.
Hedgehog Warrior.
Which are you more likely to hit?
Warrior's very, very common in like aggro Boros decks, especially ones that have a lot of like equipment stuff going on. So you can just throw this on your commander. Oh, they blocked her. That's fine. I'll draw another relevant creature card.
Or you make it a point to include no warriors in your deck, so you hit the next hedgehog.
There you go.
We're already gaming the system.
We've got ideas. The other one I thought of was Kutziel Malamet Exemplar. This is a cat warrior commander that cares about if you've boosted, if they're modified, if their powers are higher than their natural power. So it's a perfect thing to put on Kutziel. It makes it a 6/4 attacker. Very inconvenient to block, but if they do, you can go get another warrior, or you can go get another cat. Also very common.
Would you rather block a 6/4 or give me another cat?
I'm just going to equip it and put it on a cat. This is this is basically Skull Clamp.
And now my cat is 6'4".
Yeah. The other one I wanted to mention is in sacrifice decks, because there are really powerful synergies that you can do with this as long as you have a little bit of a deck building restriction. The one I thought of was Wick the World Mind.
The snail one? Can we play the clip of Graaz as the snail?
The Graaz is the snail dancing.
Shaking his booty.
So this is one that sacrifices a snail, and Wick deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to each opponent. Then you draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. This does so much that you want. First of all, it boosts your snail's power. Second of all, you're already sacrificing it, so you can guarantee that dies trigger. And you can go find another snail to put on the battlefield to reset up a Wick sacrifice ability.
Do we have more snails in Magic?
I mean, changelings.
There must be, right? Oh, she's cracked it. You're good. You should be like a permanent host on the show or something.
So you go find a changeling, and he makes more snails, so you have more things to sacrifice. That's a huge amount of synergy, and not necessarily something that you would like look at Heirloom Blade for. It's not a typal deck, really. It's not an equipment deck, really. But there's a lot of things that's going to feel really good on the battlefield.
Yeah, I love that card, especially for 25 cents.
Yeah, I mean, if your commander tends to die a lot, this also just replaces your commander, right? Where you're like, it's huge, and I know you're going to try and remove it anyway, so I might as well go get a zombie out of it. Or
you're down a creature. We're going to need a creature.
We're going to need a creature stat.
Even if you're not cooking the system or anything, like think about how tightly you've curated your deck list and how hard it was to get down to 99. Like you're going to be happy to see pretty much anything that
Yeah.
you threw in there.
I think this is an underrated effect that you should definitely be looking at twice. But there are a ton of great budget colorless cards, and I want to hear from you guys. Which do you think should see more play? Put it in the comments below. We're going to continue to answer that question. We've got like 6 more of these, I think, after we hear a few words from our sponsors.
Remember when we did that March Madness tournament bracket for the best guild in Ravnica?
Oh, yeah.
Or the watch party we did for Game Night's MKM.
Good times.
Or when we debated the most powerful card in Commander,
Chromatic Lantern.
Well, if you don't remember it, that's because you've been missing out on our Whatnot streams.
We do a bunch of really cool stuff on our Whatnot streams, and the next one is October 23rd at 2 p.m. Pacific.
We'll be part of the Whatnot Card Show. It's the largest online gathering of card enthusiasts in history, and we're going to be celebrating in a back-to-back event with
The Professor!
He'll be going live at 3 p.m., so as soon as we're done, you can hop on over to watch him.
Prof always has a ton of amazing giveaways on his streams. And so do we. Bundles, precons, collector boosters, and even booster boxes.
Yeah, we're giving away over $4,000 worth of stuff, including some big ticket items like a PlayStation 5 and a Final Fantasy collector booster box.
Plus, we'll be getting up to some fun Magic antics, and these streams only exist on Whatnot, so if you don't want to miss it, you've got to be there live.
And while you're enjoying the show, you can pick up some exclusive Game Nights merch like signed cards and accessories, or we've got a bunch of sealed product too.
If you sign up using our link at whatnot.com/invite/command, you'll get $15 free to use anywhere on the platform.
So come join us on October 23rd at 2 p.m. and don't forget to use our sign-up link for those 15 free bucks.
We'll see you there.
See ya.
Cowabunga gamers of the coast, it's me, Plague, Lord of the Beach. Now, there are 2 things that make this squishy little guy tick. Having lots of cards and lots of toughness. That's why my favorite piece of new tech is my Righteous Ridge wallet. It holds up to 12 cards plus cash, and these things are made of the toughest stuff around. Aluminum, carbon fiber, even titanium. My old wallet was so crusty it had barnacles on it. But this new one is totally fresh in a sleek Speedway blue. And they've got a ton more cool colors and styles to surf through. Plus, with RFID blocking technology, it even keeps my cards safe from digital pickpocket pirates while I'm traveling the stormy seas. Now that's what I call a ridge over troubled water. So it's no wonder they have over 100,000 5-starfish reviews!
For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code COMMAND at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code COMMAND and you're all set. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Alright, Dirtle the Turtle, it's time to wave goodbye. Let's ride!
Hey, remember when we first started the Command Zone?
Oh yeah, like it was yesterday. Dude, our new episode's doing totally bodacious numbers.
Radical. We gotta start thinking about merch.
Oh, I don't know, bro, Seth. All this new business stuff's already a lot to handle on our own.
Don't have a cow, man. I found the perfect tool right here on the World Wide Web. Shopify.
Yeah!
They're the experts on all that e-commerce stuff. Inventory, shipping, returns, you name it. You can build an online store no problem with their hundreds of ready-to-use templates, then get the word out fast through easy email and social media campaigns.
What's social media?
Don't worry about it. With all their helpful content tools, it's no wonder Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide, now including the Command Zone merch store.
Yeah! Man, the future's looking pretty fly. I can imagine it now. Yeah, thank goodness we had Shopify to make things easy.
Wait, what? Is this real or is this a flash forward? Like, when are we?
Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/TCZ.
Go to shopify.com/TCZ. That's shopify.com/TCZ.
You know what my favorite thing is about Architect? The color tags. Each card has a tab that you can use to mark collection status or whatever else you want. So when I'm building or updating a deck, I'll mark what I have, what I've ordered, and what I don't have yet. It really helps me stay organized. Plus, you can add more tags in new colors to mark anything from potential cuts to new additions. And better organization makes for better decks. So go ahead, try it out.
Architect is the best place to browse, brew, and playtest Commander decks. Just go to architect.com/commandzone to get started.
That's ARCHIDEKT.com/command zone.
Welcome back, everybody. We are talking about colorless cards. You can buy 10 cards for $10. Is
that right?
Yeah, you can buy 10 of them.
Wow.
Some of these things are cheap. You've never...
But see, a booster pack is what, $6, $7 now?
And you can buy 10 cards that you actually want for $10 right now.
Don't buy a pack that you don't want. Buy a pack of these.
Absolutely. All right, let's get back into it. We're talking about colorless cards. This is one of my favorite colorless draw engines. It's Horn of the Mark.
Horn of the Mark is a 2-mana legendary artifact. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Couple things to notice about this card. It triggers per player that you've attacked. So obviously it's a lot to be attacking with 6 creatures, but if you send 2 at one player, 2 at another, and 2 at the third, you can do this 3 times.
Yeah, our rules aficionados out there are looking at this and being like, oh, you have to attack the same person, right? Like, yeah, I'm aware.
I know.
It's 2 mana. Okay, cool it.
And it's colorless. So there's a lot of things that you want to be able to check to be able to put Horn of the Mark in your deck. You want to have a lot of attackers, and you want to have a high density of creatures. So you could be an aggressive token deck. You could be an attacking matters. You could be a deck that has a lot of haste. But you definitely want to make sure that you have the creature density to be able to actually draw cards off of Horn of the Mark.
Yeah,
but in those decks, it's going to feel incredible.
If you're considering this card and you're not sure if you're going to be hitting it every time, something I like to do with opening hands if I'm testing a deck is I'll set out piles of 7 and look at every single one of them and be like, how much would I like this? Let's do that with groups of 5, okay?
Yeah.
Deal the whole deck out into piles of 5 and judge whether or not you'd hit good with the creature aspect of this.
Absolutely. Something I was thinking about is decks that are actually, they're attacking with creatures, but they go away, like Henzi, Toolbox Tori, or even the new Tanook, the mono red Tanook that gives everything haste, and like Blitzish.
The Warp?
Yeah, Warp. Yeah. So those decks are trying to attack and do want to get like multiple things on the battlefield. So if you blitz out 2 big threats and you attack the same player with it, feels a little rude, but you do replace it, and then when they die, you get those cards back from Henzi. The big limiting factor for a Henzi deck is making sure that you have the threats in your hand to actually be able to pay off this blitz ability. So for Henzi, I was like, you could also attack with Henzi and the thing that you've cheated in, and then you draw a new thing. Henzi's beefy is a 3/3, so there is often inconvenient for people to actually block and trade with that. The other thing that I was thinking about is if you're doubling this trigger up.
With Ishin.
2
heavens is 1.
2 heavens is 1. You're attacking in this deck. You love creatures in this deck. So this can draw you 2 relevant cards when you go to combat.
2 creatures for 2 cards is pretty good.
I mean,
even if they're going to their death.
Yeah. The thing about aggro decks like Ishin, like Henzi, is you need to have stuff on the battlefield to win the game, but you also need to have stuff in your hand in case there's a board wipe.
Yeah.
Because you are sort of pressing the issue with something like Ishin and Henzi. They're like, we're dying, we need to kill all this stuff. So you need to have a backup plan when your table eventually figures out how to answer you. And Ishin says, like, I've got 2 creatures, I can attack with them right now, but I'm also refilling my hand. So if something happens, I've got a backup plan.
Yeah, that is a smart additional step to the aggro plan, which is ramp up, play as many things as I possibly can, attack, and then what?
Yeah.
Then this is like high school counselor stuff right here. Like, what's our plan? Okay, after combat.
What's our plan after combat? That as a counselor sitting there, just being like, I want to know what your plan is after combat.
That's what.
Well, they're going to die or hurt a lot.
So I was working on the Prosper deck upgrade with DJ.
Yeah.
And like DJ has a lot of experience of, talking to young people about their lives and figuring things out. And that's how the conversation went, was like, okay, so this happens. How many are you expecting to have at that point? Because you're looking at this. And I'm like, I don't know. I
haven't thought that far ahead. What are you talking about? I don't think about tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all right now.
So I think Horn of the Mark is really powerful. I tend to put it in my red decks, is where I think the draw is weakest, especially draw to your hand. And red decks tend to be really good at attacking. And at haste and at making a ton of things that are disposables. It's good in goblin decks. It's good in just like aggressive creature decks, like my Go-Go deck, for example.
And these are all decks that are probably going to give us card advantage through impulsive draw. But this lets us keep the card for good. It lets us keep our hand closed.
Yep.
It's nobody else's business, and we're set up for the future.
Sets you up for the future.
It's like a savings account for aggro decks.
Red, you have a future also. Plus, it's only 50 cents.
Great card.
This next one I have breached online multiple times. This is a 75-cent card now. It's coming up in the world. It's Noble's Purse.
So, Noble's Purse is a 2-mana artifact, and it says it enters the battlefield tapped with 3 coin counters on it. Then tap and remove a coin counter to create a treasure token. That's a lot of rectangles.
It is. This is 2 mana, and it can make you 4 rectangles over the course of the game.
Powerful stuff.
That is a ton of things. Like, so I want you to make sure that you're adequately assessing having this many cards.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's a lot of reasons why having a ton of stuff on the battlefield is good, and there's a lot of strategies in Commander that benefit from having a ton of stuff on the battlefield. So this is good with sacrifice decks that need sacrifice triggers, like Treasures can offer, or they need stuff to sacrifice. This makes 4 rectangles. You can sacrifice any number of them. So it's good in when you just need material to get rid of. Not to mention, once you empty the purse, sack the purse. That's not doing anything for you.
Here, you can have this too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is helpful with making token triggers. So, like, if you have like a Benny and you're like, draw a card if you've made a token this turn.
Right.
Or the bunny rabbit one, the Caretaker's Talent.
Idol of Oblivion too.
Yeah, Idol of Oblivion, exactly. All of those are like, you can do this whenever you want, and you can draw an additional card whenever you want. It's good with token doublers. It's good with token enhancers, like Academy Manufactor.
Love him.
Now this turns a tap, make 1 treasure into tap, make 3 things. And if you can tap this to make 2 treasure tokens with an Anointed Procession or something like that, now you have a mana rock that's tapping for 2 every turn that you played on turn 2.
Yeah, and it's one of those counters things where we're like, yeah, but what happens when it depletes? Well, I've got 4 rectangles for free, and I've spent the mana maybe. Like, I'm on to the next thing.
It doesn't need to last forever. This has already given you more value than any talisman ever has in the right deck.
Yeah, when proliferate is such a common thing that we see, it's easy for us to get locked into just like with Pentad Prism, locked into, if I'm not proliferating it, I'm not exploiting it to its full capabilities, therefore it's not worth it.
Oh, there's plenty of capabilities in here. You just have to make sure that you're focusing on the synergy.
Yeah.
Not to mention if you have any any treasure synergy going on, where it's like for every treasure you control, they become a 3/3 and murder people. Magda, yeah, absolutely. This is good with affinity and improvised decks that just care about the number of artifact rectangles you have on the battlefield. Well, this is 4 in 1 box.
Yep.
Takes you a second to empty the purse, but like once you're set up in those lake turns, this is going to be hugely explosive. And then of course you can proliferate it if that's something that you're focused on. I don't think this is the best proliferate one because it still only gives you 1 treasure a turn.
Yeah, by the time we're proliferating, we should probably be playing a different card.
Yeah.
This is more about the rectangles aspect.
Right.
And the cracking it wide open.
Yeah, this doesn't need to be busted if it checks a lot of boxes for you. This gives you mana. It's a ramp card. This gives you tokens. This also gives you something to sacrifice, or it gives you sacrifice triggers. That's a ton of value in a little box that you can cast in the early game. So,
yeah, love that.
I think it is worth looking at again, because I think it kind of got shuffled into the bulk box for Baldur's Gate.
Absolutely.
Speaking of a ton of rectangles, this is a great option, and I can't believe it's on this list.
I know, it used to be so expensive.
Like $20.
This is a good, this is a deck brewer's dream nowadays. It's Retrofitter Foundry.
Yeah.
For $1.25. Crazy.
Huge.
You want to read it this time?
Yeah, I'll read the long one.
Lay it down.
I got it. This is a 1 mana artifact. It has many abilities. The first one is 3, untap Retrofitter Foundry. The second one is 2, tap, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. The third is 1, tap, sack a servo, create a 1/1 Thopter. The third one is tap, sacrifice a Thopter, make a 4/4 artifact, construct artifact creature token. So it can make 3 different kinds of tokens. It can make servos, it can make Thopters, it can make constructs, and it upgrades one into the other.
Yeah, it's a converter.
It's also a good way to dump a ton of mana to make a bunch of tokens, or make 1 really good token.
Because of that untap ability, we can reload each time. So if I've got enough mana, I can start with nothing and end up with a big 4/4 construct.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
What this card says is you're just always using your mana.
Yeah.
Like 100% of the time, if you have 2 mana open, great, I'll make a servo. If I have 1 mana open, I'll block with my servo, I'll sacrifice it, and I'll make a Thopter now.
Yeah. I'm excited to use it in firebending strategies and stuff like that. Coming up too.
When you have just mana floating and you need stuff to use at instant speed, that's a great option for Retrofitter Foundry. Not to mention, this just makes a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I love stuff.
We just talked about the benefit of having a ton of stuff in Commander. This is good with like some of the same stuff that Noble's Purse is, right? It gives you sacrifice triggers and fodder. It makes a token triggers or token doublers is good. It's good with Affinity and Improvised decks that just need a ton of artifacts on the battlefield. And there's like some really neat tricks you can do with it. So I've played with Retrofitter Foundry a lot in 1v1. This is a cube card. This is shows up in the vintage cube still. And just having this thing in play says like, okay, I have a blocker that I can turn into a better token. So that's a free block. I have a Thopter now that could be a 4/4 at any time. I'm going to have it chill as a Thopter, but if they go to kill it, it's a 4/4. If they go to attack me with a 3/3, it's a 4/4. It just makes your board kind of unpredictable, which makes you difficult to attack into.
It's an all-time mana sink.
Yeah.
And it just becomes like, even if I've got nothing going on, I have plenty of options, and you don't necessarily know what I'm going to do. You can see all my lines, but you don't. I'm liable to do anything.
So that's definitely the first place that I would look at it is like, do you have a deck that just makes a ton of mana and needs a place to put it?
Yeah.
Then Retrofitter Foundry is a great thing to look at. Even if you don't have artifact synergies, even if you don't have like specific sacrifice anything. If you just have 15 mana and you're like, sometimes I pass and 15 mana fizzles, this is a great place to put it on a 1 mana artifact. The second thing I would look at is, do you have a commander that makes any of these tokens?
I sure do.
Yeah.
I love these token decks. I'm such a sucker for it.
Kaith, famed Mechanist, for example. If you have one that makes Thopter tokens, like Pia Nalar that I've already mentioned.
So good.
Like, those are just like free fodder for the Retrofitter Foundry. In Pia, it's like, okay, I attack with all my Thopters because they all have haste. Send them all in. Now I can sacrifice as many Thopters as I want in case I need blockers as constructs.
That's so good.
That's awesome. On a 1 mana artifact, it's really insane. Not to mention, it just makes you tokens that you can do stuff with.
Yeah, and a lot of the time we hope for just these crappy low value tokens, especially a few years ago when this came out. This was a great source of, I'm going to make you a rectangle, and that has a certain value to it.
Right.
And we're seeing more and more these days that this card is kind of getting squeezed out because of cheaper rectangles hitting the battlefield like scrap and junk and blood and these other things that are kind of overcosted for the thing that they're giving us. But so getting a rectangle for 2 mana nowadays, like, it needs to be more flexible.
Yeah, but the fact that this can get you both junk and scrap and something cheap and something valuable like a 4/4 construct token says that it is a little bit more flexible than it looks. And you start to look at like Brutaclad, Telkor Engineer decks.
One of my favorites.
It's perfect because you can make a 1/1 that you can turn into a more valuable token, or you can make a 4/4 to turn all your tokens into something powerful, because Brutaclad wants both. It wants junk and it wants valuable tokens. So the fact that you can get both on a 1 mana artifact is really powerful.
And we saw Josh pilot that strategy perfectly in Extra Turns 3. It was one of those moments for me where I was like, oh, that's how you're supposed to play this card and this deck. Is Brutaclad is your finisher, but you're setting up the whole way incrementally with Retrofitter Foundry. Like, let's say Retrofitter Foundry is the only card that you play in that deck. By the time Brutaclad hits the board, you're set up pretty well.
Absolutely. Not to mention, it fits Josh's play strategy really well, where it's like, I'm going to hold mana up. I've got an interaction in my hand that I could spend at any time, or I could sink that mana into the Retrofitter Foundry to make a token to make sure that I've used that mana adequately.
Yeah, I make that mistake a lot of the time of thinking, mana sinks are great in limited when my options are limited. But if I'm able to hold a card up for, next turn cycle and I dump it all into mana sink on the board, then that's like drawing another useful card. It's like having another copy of that card.
You don't have to spend that card to use your mana efficiently. You can use it somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really sweet options for Retrofitter Foundry. I know this was the pre-con that it was originally printed in, but I do want to mention something like Saheeli the Gifted. Works really well in this deck because it makes servo tokens. But the reason I mentioned Saheeli is that second +1 ability that makes one of your spells cost way less to cast means that you're not spending a ton of mana on that turn. So if you have a big cost reduction, you're like, okay, I'm going to cast a Blightsteel or whatever.
Yeah.
But all my mana is still untapped, and I don't really know what to do with it now because I don't have as many cards in my hand. Retrofitter is still good in that situation where you're like, okay, you're out of cards, you've used your big cost reduction, and I'm going to make sure that you're mana efficient in the other way. Because if you have a big mana reduction and you don't spend any of that mana, you don't get any advantage if you're not spending the rest.
The
that
mana
you
must
didn't
be
spend.
spent. Yeah. It's a free coupon.
Yeah.
But you don't want to waste that opportunity that it gave you.
Also, if you untap a lot of stuff, this is a great thing to untap because it has an untap ability in itself. But if you just have Clock of Omens, if you've got the Unwinding Clock, if you've got Seedborn Muse, any of that kind of things, this just gets exponentially better the more that you can untap it.
Also making copies of it. Fun stuff.
Yeah. Oh, gross. Yeah. It works really well if you have multiples because then you don't have to untap it. You just have another thing that's untapped.
Boy, is that a Brutaclad trigger. I make one token copy of it. All my stuff now is Retrofitter Foundries.
Now we're going to be here all day and it's going to wind up with you having 4/4/4s.
Everybody stop talking. I'm still going off.
Yeah, I also have found that this is a good attack deterrent. If you're just like, I'll just make a token and jump.
Well, you're just going to block it.
Then people who don't attack you, they don't make you do that, and then you get the free token. You're like,
It's like reverse propaganda.
It kind of in a weird way where people will ask you to be like, what are your blocker situation? And you can say, I have this and this, but I can also make a 2/2, like make a 1/1 and just block with that. Yeah. And they'll be like, fine, I'll just attack somebody else. And you're like, cool, free token. It has a weird mental effect on the game, which is funny. I can't believe this next card is on the budget list as well. It is the most expensive card we're going to be talking about today, but I want to make sure you have your copies before this thing gets out of control. It's Sting the Glinting Dagger.
Woo-wee.
The price is currently $3.
Oh my goodness.
And that makes it the most expensive card we're going to talk about today. But this card is insane.
Yeah.
And it's difficult for them to reprint because of the Sting the Glinting Dagger of it all. So make sure that you have bought a couple of copies of this just to have in your collection. Because we should read it.
Okay. Sting the Glinting Dagger, legendary artifact equipment from Lord of the Rings. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. At the beginning of each combat, untap equipped creature. Those are the main things we care about. But it also says equipped creature has first strike as long as it's blocking or blocked by a goblin or orc, just for flavor. Mm-hmm. And it has equip 2.
Yeah, so 2 mana to cast, 2 mana to equip, untaps the equipped creature every single turn. Mm-hmm. On your turn, it kind of like you have 2 activations because it untaps for turn, then before combat, you can tap it, it untaps at combat, and
Tactical
then you can
reload.
tap it on your second main phase or on your opponent's first main phase before it untaps again. So it gives you a lot of activations, especially if your commander has an activated ability.
So you get 5 activations each go around to the table.
That's nuts.
Pretty good.
And I know this seems obvious for my commander has an activated ability. It gives haste and it untaps them. Why wouldn't I put that in the deck? But I looked and it's only in 1/3 of Krenko decks and Jan Jansen and Urlock decks. It's very low percentages still.
Wow.
And I just don't believe that's for flavor reasons. I think it's just people haven't actually gotten over the hump to buy it and put it in their decks. And it's cracked. Yeah. If you have a Krenko mob boss and you can tap it to make goblins.
Yeah. So what's the math on that?
I don't want
go around.
In just one go around, it's insane.
It gives it haste and you get to activate it that many times.
So let's say you have 6 mana.
Yeah.
You play Krenko, you equip the Sting. You activate it once. Let's say you have no goblins. You make 1.
Right.
You untap Krenko at combat. On second main, you tap it. You make 2 more. You have 4.
Yeah.
Then you go to your opponent's untap step, and their second main, you go up to 8. And then you go to your next opponent's, and you're up to 16. And then your next opponent's untap step, you're at 32. You untap with 32 goblins, and that's assuming you start with no goblins in play.
Yeah. So This is a good cards episode, but also this is a threat assessment episode.
Yeah,
you should probably remove this
messed
thing.
Up. I have it in my Captain Sisay deck because it's a legendary equipment that I can tutor for with Captain Sisay.
Ooh.
And then once I have it equipped to Captain Sisay, I can tutor 4 more times.
That's insane.
It's not appropriate.
That's not fair.
And even if they kill Captain Sisay, it gives it haste so you can re-equip and start doing it again. So I just wanted to re-mention Sting the Glinting Dagger. If you've got a commander with an activated ability, if you're playing anything that cares about tapping and untapping, like a Magda Brazen Outlaw deck,
right,
where you're like, okay, I have a vehicle to tap Magda and I have a way to untap her 5 times. That's 5 treasures you can tutor on end step.
And so we're getting that activated ability. We're getting a dragon or artifact onto the battlefield.
Immediately. Not to
Ooh.
mention, like, you could probably tutor for this.
Oh,
Equip
yeah.
to Magda, get another activated ability. Get another of Magda, I mean. So
I didn't put this in the outline, but one of my favorite things to do is mutate Porcuparrot onto Prosper.
Sweet.
So that when you tap it, it deals 1 damage to something, and he has Death Touch.
Gross.
So he's just shooting 5 bullets every turn.
That's insane. Like, this card is so powerful, and I think people look at it and they're like, well, I can just play Seedborn Muse. It untaps all my stuff every turn. But this is an equipment that chills on the board. It can do this for anything. You can put this on mana creatures where you always have mana untapped. If you have a mana sink, like a Retrofitter Foundry, for example, this makes you 5 times the amount of mana that you would be making.
Also, if you're facing off against Sisay and it's equipped with Sting, what do we all say at the table? We got to remove Sisay.
We got to remove Sisay. Sting stays. And if they remove Sting, you're like, okay, I still have Sisay.
Yeah, if your commander has an activated ability, it must be pretty good.
It's even good for, like, if your commander is a mana sink, right? Like if your commander is Thrasios or something like that, and you can put it on a mana creature to untap them every turn, and now you can dump more mana into your commander. Like, it works both ways. So if you have a lot of big mana creatures that tap for 3 or 4 mana, if you have a commander that has a strong activated ability, great. If you just like haste and now this gives you a blocker, also sick. Like,
talk about big mana commander though. Rick Smithies, the Smothering Isle or Slumbering Isle.
Yeah,
big snoozy island man. Once it's a creature, we can equip it, and then it untaps every single turn, giving us a little bit more mana. And you've got a big stinking blocker beginning of combat, no matter what.
Yep.
I love it.
This card's really good, and it's only $3, and it's a Universes Beyond, so we just don't know how they're going to handle reprints for this. So if you don't have a copy or 2 of Sting, make sure that you have it. This card's really busted. All right, we're going to move on to maybe the card that I underrated the most.
And also, he's incredibly cute.
He's adorable. It's Threefold Thunderhulk.
Yeah, Threefold Thunderhulk is a 7 mana artifact creature gnome. Enters with 3 1/1 counters on it. And whenever this creature enters or attacks, create a number of 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens equal to its power. Then it has 2 and sacrifice another artifact. Put a 1/1 counter on this creature. So it's going to be loading up your board with tons of little fellas.
This card has surprised me over and over again. Like, the first time that I saw it, I was like, oh, it's Mere Battlesphere-ish.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unless Graaz is out.
Yeah. Freaking Graaz. Because Graaz makes them a 5/3, so you make 5 more gnomes. So
electric guitar sound.
They're all 5/3s? Yeah. That rules.
Yeah.
It's so good with Graaz. But, like, when this came out, I was like, okay, it's Mere Battlesphere, and it has, like, a couple other things. But I have put this in so many decks since it came out because it just checks a lot of boxes where it goes in +1/+1 counter decks, it goes in token decks, it goes in artifact decks because it makes all of the artifacts, it goes in sacrifice decks, it goes in Reanimator. Like, it just keeps showing up, and I'm like, maybe Threefold Thunderhulk is like incredible.
Because no matter what, a dude hits the board and then all his buddies jump in after. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot closer to Avenger of Zendikar than I give him credit for.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's like where I went wrong. Is like Avenger of Zendikar is a board in a box that scales with the game, and Threefold Thunderhulk kind of does the same thing. So, like, if you're in a big artifact decks that like welder them into play or reanimates them, this card's great because it makes a ton of bodies. It gives you stuff to sacrifice. You can sacrifice them to make him more effective. It's also just a sack outlet for artifacts, which can be really good. It's good in big creature decks that cheat them into play or reanimate them, especially if it gives them haste. So that's like the Tannock that we were talking about before. If you warp this thing in, You get the ETB, you make 3, you attack again, you make 3 more, and that's just
Thanks
3
for stopping
mana,
by.
make 6 bodies.
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
It's really, really good.
It's good in proliferate and counter decks because you can proliferate this. You can put more counters on it. It gets more threatening the more counters are on it. It's also good if you just have a thing that resets base power, makes it bigger.
And it doesn't just care about the counters on it, which is sort of the anemic call aspect of it.
Right.
It cares about its base power. It's so good.
If you have any way to make this thing, like if you have the bear that makes everything 2/2s, great. You get 2 more tokens off of this thing.
And those guys are 2/2s as well.
Gross.
Anything that's like anthemic
it's incredible in this deck.
It's really good.
It's good in affinity decks that want to have a lot of artifact material. It's good in clone decks that can abuse ETBs. Jamie put this in Jolly Balloon Man.
Yeah.
Because it comes in, you get 3 1/1s, then you make a copy of it, you get 3 1/1s. It gives it haste, gives it base power 1s,
1/1.
you get 4
So
when
it's
it attacks.
It's one of those rare creatures that is even better as a balloon.
It's really bizarre. And it's like it just keeps showing up in deck lists where I'm like, I think this card's great. Like I put this in my Mirko Obsessive Theorist deck, which reanimates stuff based on its power. It's good in Terra Herald of Hope, which reanimates stuff with low power. It's a 7-drop that you can reanimate with your 3 mana commander. I just think Threefold Thunderhulk like goes in so many decks that I am sort of shocked by it.
Yeah, especially at 7 mana. It's like, yeah, for 7 mana, you better be doing this, that, and the third.
Right.
You better be almost winning me the game for 7 mana. I don't have time for, some setup card. But yeah, this is crazy.
It's such a good top end for so many different decks that I'm like, I think I just need like a dozen of these things in my house. And they're 50 cents. Like Avenger of Zendikar is like a $5 card always.
Yeah.
And this doesn't make quite as many plants, but it does do a lot of the same things. And it's a lot more flexible. So if you haven't reevaluated Threefold Thunderhulk, look at this thing again because it's apparently a monster.
You know what's funny? Like I keep looking at this list and thinking, geez, that'd be good with this card. It'd be good with Graaz and Retrofitter Foundry.
Yep.
I want to put all those in the same deck now.
I know. Let's do this colorless budget deck is suddenly like insane. All right. We've got one more card we're going to talk about, and this is one that you've probably heard of as well, but I want to ring the bell on this again.
Rachel classic card.
It's Tome of Legends.
Good.
It's a 2-mana artifact that enters with a page counter on it. Whenever your commander enters the battlefield or attacks, put a page counter on Tome of Legends. 1 tap, remove a page counter from Tome of Legends, draw a card.
So anytime your commander enters or attacks, it's adding to its story.
Right.
Isn't that
neat
nice?
Flavor. It tells the story of your legend.
Wow, that's very like romantic.
It's Eldraine, it's got to be. This is a 50-cent card. And for me, I put in basically all my white decks and basically all my red decks.
Yeah.
Because my commander is probably attacking. It's certainly entering and probably dying and re-entering. So and it's just the rate on drawing a card in those colors, like 1 mana to draw a card every turn is really, really powerful.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago at this point, but I loved seeing you play this in Acroma and Rogue Rock.
Yeah.
Back on was that your first game nights?
It was my first game nights, yeah.
Because Rogue Rock triggers it, just 0 cost commander.
Right.
And then all the attack triggers and all that stuff, especially with partners, it's great to see.
And you don't have to trigger it that many times. I think people look at it and they're like, I need to get a zillion counters on this. And the thing is, you can only activate this once per turn.
Yeah, it's a turn.
So, you only need a couple counters on this for it to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Where, you play it, you activate it once, you draw the card. You play your 4-mana commander, you can activate it once, you draw another card. Next turn, you attack with your commander. Maybe you cast a partner, or maybe you don't activate it. You use your mana more efficiently that turn. You just need to feed it a little bit. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to go completely over the top. And I think it's that same thing that we were talking about with Noble's Purse and with Pentad Prism, where it's I gotta proliferate it. It's if it has 1 counter, it must have a zillion.
Yeah. Well, what is the point of playing something good if you can't break it entirely in one go?
Because those colors don't have Phyrexian Arenas, right?
No.
And that's what this is, but it's 2 mana. And
it's not all today.
It whenever you want.
It's on a payment plan.
Exactly.
Which is how we keep ourselves down in the middle class. But
the other thing
that's
that
a different conversation.
The other thing that those decks are bad against is board wipes, right? So if you have all of your eggs in your creature basket, when there's a board wipe, you don't have your card draw engine, you don't have like your damage output, you don't have a lot of things. So the nice thing about this is it works in, it's like that layaway plan that we were talking about with Mark or Horn of the Mark. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, Mark of the Horn? No, that can't be it. It sits on the side and gets you value even when you're not on top, which is really
paying
important.
you back for things that you should be doing anyway during a rebuild.
Right.
Yeah.
So this can really dig you out of it. If you can find the mana, you should be activating it every turn that you can. But it's going to be good, reliable card advantage in decks that can really get blown out by the right disruption.
So if this is a commander deck where you like, I don't know, play your commander or, use your commander in any way, then this is good.
I think it might be good.
Yeah, it's a commander card.
Yeah.
Care about commander.
Take a look at Tome of Legends again. You please put enough card draw in your deck, especially your aggro decks, because it's easy to stop you in your tracks. All right, that's it. Those are 10 cards.
That was a really great list of 10 cards.
10 cards. They were only $10, Jake.
Wow,
what
a deal.
You can actually buy all of these cards for $8. We could have fit one more, two more, infinite more in those $2. But we'll do a link to the full list that we talked about today in Architect. You can find that in the description. You can click on it. You can add it right to your cart and buy all of those, which is pretty cool. When you're working on a budget, it is like we are in this episode. There's always cards that don't quite make the cut. Yeah. 10 is a low number. $10 is a low value. So we do have a couple of cards that we want to mention that didn't quite make it into the budget or didn't quite make it onto the list. We're going to talk about those in a second. But if you want to buy any of the cards that we talked about, you can support the show by using our affiliate link at cardkingdom.com/command. Like I said, there's an Architect link in the show notes. You can click that, add to cart, and buy them right away. You're only going to spend $10 unless you buy, 4 stings. I don't know. Maybe you've never heard of that card before. And Card Kingdom has a ton of those cards in stock and can get them shipped to you safely and soundly as soon as possible.
Yeah, they'll give it to you straight. If you put that order in, you're getting the cards.
That always drives me crazy when I order a card and I get the wrong foiling. Like I kept getting etched foils instead of regular foils for a while there, and it was driving me absolutely crazy. And I've never had that problem with Card Kingdom. Yeah. It's nice that where you can just get all of the cards that you want, exactly the right printing. I'm a Commander player, so I'm picky about the cards that go in my deck. All right. And I want to make sure that the ones that I order on the website show up on my doorstep that way. Safe and sound. It's starting to get into the wet season, the cold season, so you want to make sure that when your cards are shipped, they're shipped safely. And Card Kingdom knows exactly how to do that as well. So support the show at cardkingdom.com/command. And once you have the cards in your hand, you've got to keep them safe, protected. Go to ultrapro.com/command for the greatest deck boxes, binders, sleeves, dice bags that you could ever want, playmats. The thing I really like about UltraPro is they have a ton of different lines based on your style. So if you really like magic art, you can show off that. If you really like it to be clean and simple, they've got the Mana 8 line, really high quality, really clean looking stuff.
What are those
make a bunch of stuff match.
What are those beautiful card display?
Oh, the One Touch Edge. I think we have one.
I got one of these from a friend at MagicCon.
Yeah?
And he's like, oh yeah, check out the back. And on the back is that cool arena style magic art card back. But I didn't realize until I got to my hotel room, he meant check inside the card.
Oh yeah.
And it's a Merit Lage artist proof.
Oh, good, that's
signed
so nice.
by the artist. It was, Daniel Kane is just a gem.
What an angel.
But it's such a sweet way to give a gift.
Yeah.
Like, that feels a lot better than a top loader. It feels like a special, you know.
And a lot of times like you receive a card and you're like, well, I don't really have like a place for it, and you want to display it, you want to like have it be a part of your home, but you don't necessarily have the perfect spot to show it off, and the One Touch Edge helps you with that. So pick up that at ultrapro.com/command. And a reminder, game nights auditions are open. The deadline is October 26th at 11:59 PST PM. Check out the link in the show notes that'll give you all of the details on how to audition. Again, you do have to be a patron, but you can do it at any tier, and you don't have to stick around. We understand we're getting into the holidays here. Things can get expensive, but join the Patreon, submit. We want to meet you and see your video. If you've submitted before and you're starting to get discouraged, try again. We get a lot of submissions, and it's just about being you and helping us understand what you would bring to the show. So
and everybody, we watch
real.
Every single one of them.
We do.
Like, as long as you follow those instructions too, you're going to float yourself above all the other people who didn't, So make sure you follow the instructions, and you are good enough. You're going to be great. Like, just show us exactly who you are and be yourself, and we'll see how it works.
Oh, right. We've got a couple more colorless cards we're going to mention before we go here. These are ones that didn't quite fit in the budget. These are the 2 for 2s.
Yeah.
So we each have cards that we wanted to mention in the list, but didn't quite fit for one reason or another. Jake, what card did you want to add to this list?
Tome of the Guild Pact.
Ow.
Tome of the Guild Pact is a 5-mana artifact, and it says whenever you cast a multicolored spell, draw a card, and then add 1 mana of any color.
Yeah, draw engine and mana engine.
I play a lot of decks that jam a bunch of gold cards all into one because I'm a sucker for certain Universes Beyond cards. So when I had my Transformers deck, this said basically cast a spell, draw a card, because almost everything was multicolored. Jamie here at the office has a Kineos and Tiro deck that draws a card every single time off this card. It's a cool card. 5 mana is a lot, but how much is card draw really worth? Plus
gives you
compound mana
back, right?
Yeah.
So you can cast this a turn later, but it smells like a Guardian project in the right deck, where you can draw a card anytime you cast something, and you can tap it for mana. Plus, artifacts are easier to reduce casting cost of. They're easier to cheat into play than stuff like enchantments. So I agree. I think this one should be looked at twice. Check your gold counts in your 3+ color decks for sure.
Yep. It's 5 mana, ain't that much for what it is.
Yeah. The one I wanted to mention didn't quite fit in the budget. It's Marvin, Murderous Mimic.
Marvin, please don't kill me.
Marvin, despite being adorable, he is like $4 or something like that. This is a 2-mana legendary artifact creature toy. Marvin, Murderous Mimic has all the activated abilities of creatures you control that don't have the same name as this creature.
Cool.
Great. Well, we don't have any of those. So Marvin can be the second copy of your best mana creature. They can be the second copy of your commander with an activated ability.
It's a clone that's not a clone.
It's a clone that's not a clone.
Super
and the
cool.
thing that I really like about it, especially with tap activated abilities, is you can play Marvin first. He doesn't have any abilities, and then you can follow it up with like a Selvala or something really busted where, Marvin.
Do it right now.
Marvin has haste, basically.
Ooh.
So Marvin can use that ability right away. It effectively gives the card that you put into play haste. And then later you have 2 copies of that.
Yeah, Game Nights Live Chicago, we saw Josh play this card with his loot deck,
Yeah.
which was super cool
Gnarly.
because it exhausts the ability. You can't use it again. So anytime Marvin came back, we got new instances of those abilities. Or anytime loot came back.
Loot came back, so it reset Marvin as well.
Yeah.
It's a really cool card. It sneaks into decks pretty often. I'm on an activated ability kick, but it's great in my Sisay deck where you can put Marvin on the battlefield, play Sisay, activate right away, and start the tutor chain way faster than you thought that you could.
It's a super crackable card.
It's really crackable. I'm sure there are ways to go infinite with this, but a value Marvin is actually going to be a really good enhancer for your deck.
And you love kind of befuddling your opponents with, we really got to get rid of that Marvin or loot. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
You know?
It's like loot, but if you can recast loot from the command zone, then Marvin's right back. If you get rid of Marvin, well, you still have your commander. So it starts to split attention and split a disruption, which is cool. All right. Those are the colorless cards we're going to talk about. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We've been doing more 10 for 10s. If you like this, leave a comment down below. We really appreciate it. And we're going to go. And before we do that, we got to say thank you to our amazing team that made this episode and all of our episodes possible. Thank you to Sebastian Salazar, Karina Cruz, Gaurav Galati, Jamie Block, Jordan Pridgeon, Becky Bell, Rachel Kendra, Eric Lem, Manson Lung, Josh Murphy, Evan Limburger, Sam Waldo, Josh Lee Kwai, Jimmy Wong, and of course, special thanks to Jake Boss for taking the time to talk about some Magic cards with me.
Thank you for having me. I'd never get to do an episode like this.
I know,
So fun.
You never have time.
Yeah, I know. I'm a very busy person.
Yeah, well.
Not busy enough to talk about cheap cards.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.